Thank you, Chris. We need roll call.
No, well, more than enough.
I got no real comments except for John and I have been riding the property quite a bit lately and have had nothing but praise from people we've run into on the boulevard and in the clusters about the trees.
Trees are beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. That's about what we've heard from about everybody we talked to.
One of our constituents spoke with me the other day in regards to the vines that we're having all over the place. And their comments were, can we take those down or should we take them down? And they were thinking specifically of their own clusters and so on. They're saying, I know that's a difficult part for John. We haven't got a lot of people to take care of those things, but if we as individuals were to create a pile, would we be destroying any of our foliage? And would it help the world out there? And would it be okay in regards to the labor situation, John?
Okay, yeah, when we go into the clusters, which we admittedly have been behind, but we're catching up, we take the vines down.
Okay.
So anybody that wants to like pick up a weed as they walk by or something like that, just feel free to do so. We'll pick it up on normal or regular, any pickup day.
Just make a pile,
Yeah.
because they're speaking specifically
Yeah.
about the boulevard down Oak Creek Drive.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be addressed, but yeah. But when we go in there, because like I said, we have been behind, but most everybody's here now, and so
We
we're catching
didn't
up.
want to create any more work.
No.
If we were to do something like that and clear, just make one
Fine.
big pile
Yeah.
for them and then pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of those vines are trip hazards too, depending on where
Yeah.
you're walking.
True.
Well, I think the key thing is there's more people out there thinking about how can we help make this even better than it was before, but they don't want to make it worse, like, okay, let's trim them at 5 minutes to and 5 minutes after, that would kill them all, so that's. the kind of thing I
True.
think.
Yeah, so most of the vines we have in this community, there's only one native vine that I've seen. All of the others are invasive exotics, and they do kill back the oaks and the palmettos, which is ground cover that we really want to keep.
I'd say, well, that's what I'm
So
gonna ask.
it's beneficial to take them out, yeah.
What about that decorative plant that's been put out there? It's a vine, it's crawling up the trees with the big leaf. I
Big
don't know
leaf?
the
I
name
don't
of
think
it.
that's
That's
hurting
a-
anything.
No, that's more decorative.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
big
those
one.
are okay.
And it's not sucking to the
No.
tree.
No, it's just using
No, it's
the
just
tree
dry
as a
out.
climbing material, but it's not parasitic.
Well, then we're in good shape. We're
Yeah.
rolling on the same thing.
Are any of them poisonous? Any of the vines?
To like dogs and.
No,
stuff
no,
like
no,
that.
no, to us if we pull them.
No, sometimes, your.
I mean,
hands
are
will
there
get a
poison
little
ivy
itchy.
or any of that?
I haven't seen any
Okay.
poison ivy. There's one that looks similar to it.
Right.
But
It's the other guy.
it's a native one that just has a similar leaf structure and you can
Yeah.
pull it and that
Yeah,
one's
Danny.
fine.
Tiffany,
Yeah,
which vine is native? What's it called?
Virginia creeper.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be a Florida creeper.
Yeah, and really that one doesn't need to be pulled because it usually maintains a nice natural balance, but some of the other ones like the bitter melon, which is the one with a little orange thing that like has the red seeds. That one will just suffocate plants,
Yeah, it
so that
does,
one needs to
yeah.
come out.
Okay.
There's a few, yeah.
Very
And
good.
if you ever get bored, you can sit there actually and watch it grow.
Ah,
Max and I spend our weekends pulling it off sometimes, yeah, uprooting them all.
Financial matter?
That'll be ready. Barbara already has her report for the investments, and the bookkeeper has the bank statements to produce the financial statement that'll be ready with the manager report. Don't forget that this is one of those months where we have an early workshop and a late board meeting, so we will
2
really
weeks.
won't be meeting Monday. We'll be meeting a week from Monday.
Another question in regards that I could have asked you, Barbara, but is the bookkeeper happy with the format that is being used now for the investment program?
Yes.
Excellent. And so everything is being entered into the books without any issues for our upcoming audit, which is what, 7 months or 6 months from today or something like that.
It's a legal problem.
Well, obviously, the 364 has been resolved, but, and we've been, I guess the unit hasn't been sold, and we've been contacted by a couple of realtors to find out certain things about rules and regulations and things of that nature. So apparently they decided just to get on with it and take care of us. So that's the good news. We have court date, I think, of August 28th for the unit in 7/18, I think it is. And then we 321 has been sent to the attorney for collection. So we're still having a couple little problems, but for a unit condominium this size, 558 units, it's amazingly well paid by the owners.
Is,
There's 5 or 6 that we have to go after every quarter, but they do pay.
is 321
Yeah.
up and down? Is that
321,
one of the townhouses?
yes, 321, but that's not an
It's
issue.
not-
Oh, I thought you.
Did I
said-
say
Yeah,
321?
I said 321, but
No, it's 3, I take that back. I'm sorry. I cast aspersion, 341. I'm sorry. Yeah, so sorry.
I know 321's for
No.
simple, but. it's not.
I don't think so.
no,
No, they just remodeled it.
Oh, well, okay, I thought I saw it on the.
no, that's
thing.
319.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, 319 for sale, yeah. And by the way, I just interviewed the new people for 258. I don't know if you met them, you know, very nice couple from Chicago.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
parents of the minister that we just hired.
That was amazing. I'm interviewing, he says, well, I know Roger. I said, oh, how do you know Roger? Well, my son is his new minister, you know, very nice people.
Yeah.
Okay, good, old business.
As neighbors.
Yeah.
Another question, sorry, but it's coming up. We're doing a stairway renovations, et cetera, and I walked up the stairways at 7:44. And I hope we're gonna be looking at the treads because there seems to be splintered wood. It seems to be squishy and frankly, there's pieces of wood that have come off. Now, that's the only one I've really walked up. But I hope that we're taking a look at this because I got a feeling we got a lot more.
Our project is primarily due for the support of the walkway itself. However, you're right, there are stair issues. We've replaced, as a matter of fact, I think we just replaced an entire stringer over on that building. And so we'll be looking at it. As you know, we've been running basically without a carpenter other than using the Howells people. And there's some debate as to whether we would have enough work to hire somebody back again. But I think in the long run, we would just with maybe stairs alone. But the primarily, all the supports complete on that. So there are other issues with stairs, no doubt about it.
What was it, 741?
744, I got it.
44, you
We'll
got it?
check it,
Okay,
yeah.
Checking.
We'll check it out, John.
Alright. Second floor walkway renovations are pretty much
Yeah.
done, except for the decks.
Yeah, we gotta paint the decks, or waterproof the decks instead of paint them. We've got 37 of them done. I'm sorry, I'll take that back. 43 of them done. That leaves about 98 to do.
Cause you have 141.
Yeah, that's right. And we got the first proposal coming in from a painter to come in and do the caulking and the waterproofing, but they brought in a Rolls Royce type of finish versus what we could use here, probably a good Hyundai. If I go characterize it that way, but so he's looking at it to review because we've been able to substantiate the fact that with the type of material of masonry paint and caulk, the proper caulking, it should be fine. He brought in a system of caulking and 3 coats of paint, which obviously would be the ultimate, but we really don't need that, and that was going to cost us about $45,000. So I'm looking forward to bringing the price considerably down and then getting this project finished. John?
Are we going to then put in place a ruling about pavers or anything else being put on that particular slab? That will be a thing of the past.
That'll be up to the committee. Currently, that's probably something that the building committee should address because some of the issues that we're continuing to have 708 in particular is there's tile on that, and although all the work's been done below, there is water leaking through. So that's one of the ones we want to fix the first,
Yeah.
because we want to take the tile off because there's obviously cracks under it. So we probably should develop some sort of rule that the waterproofing should be the only thing up there. Otherwise, other issues. And we don't even know, especially with pavers, if the load bearing situation is overloaded over a period of time. The good news is that, we've now got structures that minimally are going to be good for another 40 years, because we know that the last ones lasted 40 years, So
Now,
we've made good strides there.
Am I correct now that we will not be replacing any tile or whatever that we take off of these units?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no, we won't.
When
We
some-
won't. It's just a matter of whether the owners will be prohibited to do so.
Excellent. So I'm giving the right
Yeah.
information.
I have a question on. We are obviously fixing the porch up there. Is that common element?
It's called a limited common element
Element.
pertinent to the
Should
unit.
people not get permission to put anything on top? From the office or from the manager? Because, I can only put so much tile on my patio, and then I have to stop, because then it's no longer my area. And I think there should be a rule that you can't just put up there whatever you want. You need
There
to
is
get
a rule. The
permission.
documents are very
And people
straightforward.
ignore
Well, let's just say over the years, they always haven't been adhered with.
'em. Okay,
Maybe we need to put in our next bulletin or something that we have a list of new, or let's say, old rules that haven't been adhered to, like for instance, this. A list of items that may have been gotten through a crack, for instance, no more pavers on that particular area. And some of the other ones that may have been sliding through too.
Well, it might be interesting. Barbara just talked to me about articles for the upcoming newsletter, and maybe we can feature something like that along with some posting on the website. But that's a good point, John.
I just thought that we go back after, in the hindsight, and we come in after somebody spent a couple of $100 and we tell them we gotta rip it out. I'd rather do it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Definitely no carpeting in those upstairs units. On that area.
That just keeps the water there, no doubt.
Yep, yep.
There are some, there still are some.
Is a bad job.
Yeah.
we should have prefaced it.
Yeah. As we do these decks, we should probably go ahead and tell the people who live there, Don't plan on putting anything over the.
Yeah, well, I think and I
And
think
we'll
we
just
should,
have parents
it's
like
something we can
yeah.
talk about at the building committee meeting
it's
proposed to the board. And I can tell you that we do have an inventory, just for your information. I
No,
don't have to wave it in front of everybody. But we do have an inventory of everything on who has what, who has vinyl, who has tile, who has
Okay.
pavers, who has poly pebble. It's all up there, and carpeting, believe it or not.
can we not address it then?
I was
Yeah.
kidding.
As a
No,
whole?
no, there is carpet up there.
Static versus indoor.
Yes.
Barbara. Truth is, harder to believe than fiction. I don't know, why would anybody put carpet up where it's gonna be wet? There was carpet downstairs going to even probably that sidewalk, was carpet. It's disgusting. Keep your condo clean, you wipe your feet before you get in.
That's right.
Do you know how dirty that carpet ended up being? Oh my
Rolled up its road
over the
side.
All right, next, carport ceiling.
Carport ceilings, the last of the repairs are underway right now in L. Found out when there was a gutter missing there, and we've got proposals coming for the gutter replacement there, and they noticed when the gutter came down, the fascia was rotted to the outside. And when he started replacing the fascia, we found that the structure was rotted behind it. And so that necessitated then taking out a portion of the ceiling panels. And so now we've got new ceiling panels and, oh, excuse me, I'll turn this right off.
S looks really good, by the way,
Great.
Like the Russian nesting dolls.
and I stopped by L and said how good S looked. He didn't know what I was talking about with S, but
Anyway, so yeah, he's done a heck of a good job, and that project is behind us now, right, for at least the next time till the next issue is done.
All right, discussion on the automatic pool spa chemical feeders. I think we decided,
Well, basically, it's on the agenda to make a formal approval.
yeah,
Back and forth in negotiations. We all know that he accepted the $19,000 plus tax. And I guess fortuitively or not, one of the
yeah.
higher priced boards fell into demise, I guess we would have to say. And so they just had to replace that. So it helps us a little bit on the purchase price. So we'll okay it and then go ahead and purchase the equipment and at your decision, hopefully it is yes.
Why would they have waited so long to not to?
Yeah.
That was so weird, like a year. This is going on over a year.
August, when we brought it up.
is part of the proposal to the board going to be the additions that we have to make to bring it up to?
This is just the purchase
This is
and
just the purchase. Got it.
but the understanding is that we'll go forward with those.
Okay.
Yes,
Do we need a motion on that?
well, you will at the meeting.
Oh, okay.
We're just talking about it now.
Electric vehicle issues.
The only issue is that hopefully before the meeting starts, we're gonna do that little trenching in the cement and be able to report what happens.
Okay.
What we're talking about now is instead of going under the sidewalk, the committee is had a different thought, and we could just channel the sidewalk itself, put like a little deco drain cover in there and just run the cord under there, and it should be level with the sidewalk and hopefully at practically no cost, facilitate no tripping hazards, things of that nature.
So it'll be a trench dug alongside.
Well,
parallel to the
if
edge
this
of
is
the
a
sidewalk.
sidewalk, if this is a sidewalk,
Gonna go right
we're just gonna cut the sidewalk in, drop a plastic like a container, a deco drain like you see at pools.
Mhm.
And then they can just lift that cover, put their cord in there and cover it up in the future, and hopefully no trip hazard will result.
Just like what you have going along your wall on your front sidewalk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the drain cover like.
Drain
yeah,
cover.
yeah. It's for the water to run into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know, since I'm already talking, do we know if we're within the code in doing that? We've seen, Judy and I both seen an article or two about the Manatee County code enforcement folks fining residents for running extension cords.
Well,
Outside.
the only thing that I think that they would have about if they're cutting Manatee County sidewalks,
Yeah.
these are private sidewalks to
Okay.
us. So I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
Okay.
What about insurance?
What about insurance?
Is the homeowner have to get?
Well, that's
provide
something
proof
with that,
of-
of course, the course we took.
Yeah.
With charging stations and things like that, that it does have to be addressed.
Yeah.
It hasn't been addressed yet, and I guess we do it at the building committee meeting.
That video is on the website under the building committee.
Great,
Hmm.
great, thank you.
Okay. Operations manual.
I put that on because it's kind of got stalled somewhere along the line and
Can I ask another question quickly in regards to electricity? When we have roof inspections that are going and they're walking around the roof, whatever time, whether it's to clean out things or whatever, do we take a look at any of the wiring for the air conditioners? And so on? I'm talking about outside of the box from the where the electricity goes in. My guy was up there a couple of weeks ago and he looked at ours and said there's no problem, but it looks like it is getting weathered. And he says, I go from the box into the air conditioner, but from there over. My only point in this is that building has been hit by lightning, and I'm just wondering if there's something up there we can't see. It's a two-story. If we're looking at them and gauging these things in a yearly manner or something like that, whatever it's convenient.
The one who primarily on our staff is on the roof is Jim, and he goes there to either clear gutters or clean debris off or check for roof leaks. He doesn't have a formal inspection, you might say, but he has said, John, we ought to look at 755 or something of that nature. It doesn't look like, or they should let them know that they should have their electrician or their actually their AC people look at it,
Well,
so.
my concern is that is a potential fire hazard if we do have a short in that particular world, because it's outside of anything we could collect, and it's just a thought pattern as preliminary type of things. It looks like we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're good.
Well, primarily, I think everybody should have a minimally, what is it, Steve, 1 or 2 times a year
Yep.
service,
Twice a
which
year.
would include
Technically,
looking
it
at
should be
that. kind of
twice a
stuff.
year.
Okay, good.
And hopefully your air conditioning guy will, everybody's air conditioning guy should look at that stuff and bring it up.
Another question from the consist.
Part of their job. Okay, operations manager.
Operations manual, let's put it this way.
Hey,
The
Roger,
operation
look at that.
manual, a lot of work went into it. A lot of work went into producing it, but it hasn't quite reached its fruition, I guess would be the word. to say.
No, and I think the last time we did talk about it, and I don't think there's been any follow-up, but to reinstate the committee and Leslie agreed to be a part of it this time.
I think Barb wants to be on that.
I do too, but also I thought you or
Dick
somebody was
Nicola.
gonna reach back to
To
Claire and get the
We could find
original,
Yeah.
very original one before we,
I thought that,
or is it here in the office?
Leslie has the original. doesn't she?
Well, I gave her my copies for the original,
Oh, okay.
both.
Well, there should be one in our computer system here too.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who's heading up to come in?
That's up to the president to appoint.
I
Oh.
thought you volunteered.
I don't think I did.
I know you did too.
Yes, back.
We get
We'll have to wait till September, or October when I get back.
You're not back right now?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Leslie would do this.
Leslie would.
Leslie
would do this.
Leslie
No,
would
no,
show
no,
it.
she,
Okay.
I gave it to her to do and she sort of gave it back. Said that she was confused and needed to be somebody who was on that committee before, which I think Dick
was on it,
Dick
yeah.
was on it.
Chris was on it.
I'll
Chris
talk
was
to
on
Dick. I'll see if
it.
I can just point to
Dick
Dick.
and Chris and Claire primarily, and Roger joined for a period of time.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get Dick to become.
I don't think
Take-
Claire wants to have anything more to do with it though, does she?
I prefer not to be on it either.
It's getting to be a committee of one.
No, we got Dick and Barb and Roger, that's.
And Leslie still wants to be on it, I think.
Yeah, she. I think she did say that, but she didn't.
All right,
want
so you can make some formal appointments
All
at the
right.
meeting.
it. Okay, I can do that. I can make enemies.
I did.
Wind mitigation study.
Okay, I'm searching for pricing on a new study. As you know, our study is basically out of order or out of date as of the end of this year. It's actually through June, but it is still within the 5-year window. But we had hoped to get a better price. The company that did it before last time was $4,900. And I thought we might even get a discount since they had all the paperwork and the measurements and everything else. And their proposal came in at $9,500.
Oh.
And I called them and I said, my God, has things gone up that much? And they said, well, it has. I said, well, tell me you don't have the paperwork and tell me there's been no changes and no additions. There must be some discount available. And she called back and said, nope, there isn't.
Wow.
So I'm trying to find another company that will come out and give us a bid to see. Unfortunately, they're gonna have to come out and do the whole Megillah. Walk the property, go inside and basically check everything out and everything else. So, and if they come in anywhere near, I guess we're gonna have to go with the people who know it.
Yeah.
So right now, we're kind of up in the air, but we have to get it by certainly the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do we own those measurements?
Yeah.
Things like that?
We have the books. Yeah, I mean, we have everything. Somebody else could probably take a look at the, there's one for every building.
Right.
So, yes, we have that materials. So that might help.
Why would they charge the same amount?
They didn't, they doubled it.
Doubled it.
Yeah,
I mean.
That's
think
why I said,
more.
and she said that she wouldn't even give me an answer. She said I would go to the higher ups and she called me back and at least she called, and said, no. Simple as that.
Price gouge.
Yeah, it is.
Well, they're a company that does statewide and, I was hoping maybe to find somebody local.
All right, so we're working on that.
Yep.
New business. Vacations.
Yep, there'll be a letter or two.
Dock Building Committee proposed guideline units for extended period of time.
Well, actually, from when leaving, actually, what the building committee,
Okay.
we've never presented the policy change,
Oh.
requested policy change to the board for its approval. The building committee worked on this for 3 or 4 meetings, I think it was. And it's a 3-page document to recommend with the owners if they go away for extended periods of time and how to close up your unit, what to do. It's a checklist.
My bad.
Well, we did it on the
Yeah.
building committee, but we never took it up here. So that's on there.
In discussion of that, just before we get to the vote. Is there any provision in there that they somehow document the fact they have somebody looking into the place? Because I'm so scared we're gonna end up with another thing like we had with the mold. All over that one unit that hadn't been looked at for a couple of years, and it affects everybody around it, not only the unit itself.
So just make sure that on
That's
that,
In other words, do they have, it says they have to have John West look at it on every single month, he will be there looking at it?
Do that.
No,
don't think you
they're
can
just
do that.
recommendations. They're not
Yeah.
rules.
yeah, you have to recommend it.
Well, the
Yeah.
concern I have is only that we have some of these units that are in question, the one over by me, I can't remember the number of it, but it's been empty for a long period of time. We had to go in there and do the mold removal, et cetera, and yet I'm not sure anybody's looked at it since that time.
They have, John, they have on a regular basis.
Excellent, that's what I want to hear. But we should be having the owner pay for
Well, we
that.
can recommend that as the last item there. If you don't have anybody checking your unit, please let the office know so we can go in regularly.
Excellent, thank you. That's
What?
what-
We, who's we?
We came up with that.
That's why I want to talk about that.
What do you mean, we, white man?
No,
You know?
We're getting so many things here which almost look like a management company for these rental units and some of these other units that are sitting there waiting for construction. I appreciate it. I mean, when we use the bug guy or something like that, but
Sure,
put that
bug guy
onus
goes
on us is not right.
We could investigate the fact if you could require an inspection. To my knowledge, I've not ever heard it incorporated into a set of rules and enforceable.
Yeah.
It was
Well-
like in the old days when we had to come up with insurance policies for every unit. If you got 40% of them, you were lucky.
Well, I think what brought all this up is I'm sitting there thinking about all the issues we've had over the last couple of years that I've been on, and they're always after the fact. It's always a situation, there's mold in there. Well, why didn't we know it could have happened beforehand? Because we're only taking care of, we're having to sue people because they don't pay their bills. That's after the fact that the bill was due. It'd be nice if we had some way that we could maintain these units and or have them maintained. I'm finding also the potential for you as our management group of the area here becoming property managers in regards to not only the tenants that are in there, but also how and if they are keeping up the unit itself for those around it. So that's my only concern.
Maybe we can get people
Can I-
to turn off the water.
But John, even if I had somebody assigned to watch my unit
Mhm.
many years ago. And when I came down twice a year for a couple of weeks. And it was very warm. And it turns out the air conditioning wasn't even working. And when I asked them about it, they're used to, they keep their place warm. When they checked on my place, they didn't even think anything about it. And so I started to get mold on one eye. But, so you can't always even go by like, even though there's a person that was checking on it, I didn't realize something was wrong.
Well, I wonder if there's some way that we can bill these people for our time. $50 a year to check your unit. I don't know what it would be, but
John, do you
But
know
somehow or
we're
other-
involved with that? Oh, my.
well,
goodness.
I understand, but I'm so tired of us here having lawyers and sue and scream and holler and do everything under the sun and take it. Including taking a gun down to have them take care of their unit after the fact.
Isn't that the
Volunteer.
exception rather than? a
It's,
rule?
Yeah.
John, if I-
Vision is John being a property manager and
I-
it's got a lot of places that's what's happening.
I appreciate what you're saying, and many of the points you bring up are valid. However, it is a distinct minority, the numbers. You're just lucky enough to have the two bad ones in your cluster. And no, it just seems much more of a problem. But yes, I mean, Roger goes away for 2 weeks and his unit gets demolished. I mean,
Yeah, it's
So,
being checked once a week.
yeah,
And one
So-
week it was fine and the next week it was wet.
and so, that's
Only a
how
week
things
apart,
can
so
happen.
checking it once a month might not be
No, not.
often enough.
No.
But we-
require once a week.
We're only know of 3 units out of 558, and then 2 of them are in your cluster, and one other was people who just boarded everything up and wouldn't let the air go or anything like that, but that's been resolved also. So, but it is an issue, but it's not maybe as big as you might see it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Good one.
Oh, speaking of that, 223, did we end up putting the drywall up? Were we?
Yeah, well, that's all done.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know. where
It's
it is.
sold,
Oh, I know. where it is.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Okay. The vegetation along 43rd, this came up when, I'll let you do.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you. As you remember, we've always had issues, or have had for a long time, issues on the corner of 43rd over by Applebee's where the homeless were there. It took us 2 or 3 or 4 years to really get the county to come back and really do some amazing cleanup there. Where they come in, they took the undergrowth out and if you notice probably for the first 80 or 90 yards now, it is just trees with very low undergrowth, and it's almost like a little park area now.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all it did was cause the homeless to move further south where the growth is. So the county came in and did a little bit more now, and cleaned out the next area, maybe another 20 feet tall. But since they've done that about a month ago or so, we haven't seen a soul there. So I don't know whether they put homeless be gone down or something like that. Hopefully so, but they're not there. And not even across the street anymore at
At Applebee's. yeah.
Applebee's.
They
So
replaced that sign.
Yeah.
Down by the Wawa,
yeah, that's what I heard.
26th.
But anyway, the county called me and said they can envision taking down the entire outer layer of vegetation all the way down to the end of the property, leaving just the trees and not the undergrowth. And the county guy who I've been working with, who got all this work done, called me and said, we would like to consider doing that.
His boss.
But my boss is Commissioner Osterly, and Commissioner Osterly has a file from Wildewood citizen owners saying, don't take down that outer layer along 43rd because it's a sound and sight barrier for our units.
No, are we talking along the fence line or?
No, I'm talking about now out. All
The road
right,
side.
what you got the fence, well, we're gonna give a little diagram, but you got the fence line,
Mhm,
then you got the pathway,
uh-huh.
and then you got the row of bushes.
Okay, I think people were talking about along the fence line, the people that live here. I know the
No, we're
Dowds
not
were,
doing the fence line. That's the all stays.
I know, but I think that's what the Dowds were talking about, was getting something along that fence line, and that was the most vocal I'd ever heard.
Okay, well, apparently there's some people that have gotten the commissioners and written a letter because he was extremely, he said he would have to hear from the board of the directors of Wildwood Springs
Okay,
to go forth with any kind of major removal of undergrowth. Because he said he did not want to be overrun by irate citizens,
And this is
quote unquote.
he
And this
said-
is Osterling, the commissioner.
Van
Van
Ostenbridge.
Ostenbridge?
Is
Van
that-
Ostenbridge,
Is
yeah.
that an older letter?
Yeah,
Like
it's a
this-
real,
Yeah,
Before
yeah.
the homeless problem really
Yeah,
kicked into high
yeah.
gear.
yeah, I was gonna say, as long as
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't have a homeless
Because he's
problem.
a fairly new commissioner
Yeah, I
to
think,
our area.
We're in Ron now, though.
Yeah.
Like Ron,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Is
Yeah.
that the new one they just?
but
Yeah,
apparently
got redistricted.
there's some sort of relationship
There's an
there that
overlap.
is involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
They work together on, like, Austin Bridge used to be ours.
Was ours, yeah,
And
but then we got
Yeah.
redistricted into Ron.
We even had one before him that was really close. He used to come to our meetings and stuff.
Misty, sir.
We have Mr.
Yeah.
Serbia.
Well, before her, there was a gentleman,
Oh, John Chappie.
John Chappie.
John Chappie,
Yeah.
yeah, he was really good.
He's on the island now.
Yeah. Anyway,
well, as long as we don't have any homeless,
You don't have to change it.
yeah, let's just let it ride.
Weren't they gonna widen 43rd?
Yes, they're
They
supposed to,
did.
yes.
Well, they did
They
just at the end.
Just
there.
at the end, okay.
yeah, they
I
did
thought it
that
was gonna be
project.
the whole thing.
Well, that was the conversation, but apparently that's been pushed back.
Okay.
We're here in 27, 28, something like that.
I think if we have the opportunity to get that done by somebody, we ought to just jump on it. Whether it's homeless or not, because how long will it be before they come back? It's hot now. They're transient like anybody else. They're traveling,
This is the low time of year for.
Yeah.
yes, but winter comes back.
They're
They're back.
I think we have a valid concern though, because once it's
Well,
done,
there's
it
no
can't
hole.
be undone.
And,
And if we
well-
have people down there that are worried about the sound, which there are a ton of them are, because when we were doing the work on that, the community center, we had people complaining about that right here, about the noise, and, I don't know what to do about this, but I think it's a valid concern. I'd hate to jump into this and then have to build walls so that we don't have.
Well, let's say they do take down that along the road. Do we have enough privacy cover for Wildwood Springs?
Does make it very thin.
It's gonna get real thin in
It's
spots.
very
We have to
thin.
anticipate, beefing that up a little bit.
We are planned already to beef it up at the corner, at the northern corner where we've got some urea ponds coming in. Because people have a straight shot now, in some units right across the street to Applebee's, so.
Where it was trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it was. Okay.
So there would have to be sooner or later some major expense involved if we took all the outer buffer down.
I'd like to see it something that we could grow as time went on. What I mean by that, not grow the plants, but that we could start this thing in one location and continue the same process all the way down the road and end up with everything that we want, both privacy and sound mitigation. In regards to like the palms that you're talking about or whatever else it is, not just a spot type thing.
Well, those are
And
really
FPNL was just in there yesterday and we haven't done take a look to see how much they've taken out yet. But I'm sure it's gonna be even thinner now because FPNL was in with the,
Yeah, they're taking away from
Yeah.
our side of the path as well as the other side of the path, so,
Well, they have the right of way.
yeah.
but,
I think we could always ask Ocean Bridge for a moving via.
Yeah,
Hey, that's
all right.
Oh, boy.
the best thing ever.
So from our side, it's fence, bushes. and-
then Florida Power.
So what about
driving.
Well, we have bushes, we have a whole lot, we have a lot of bushes on the inside too.
Okay,
There's more bushes on the inside of the fence than there is on the outside of the
Right.
fence.
You know, you can, a Harley Davidson gunning down the road or two guys, you can never get that sound out, but I hardly hear anything from 43rd Street. And we're fairly close here with the tennis courts,
I
yeah.
agree. I agree.
got
The
pretty good
motorcycles
growth.
you hear no matter what.
Yeah, you got a lot of
We hear-
growth over here.
We hear Cortez and 43rd
Yeah.
Street, so you know what?
and 50
And we hear 34, Woodlawn, we get 34th and 53rd.
Yeah.
Well, I might suggest before Monday and, we might want to table this whole thing and not even put it on the agenda this time around. But we could, I would suggest driving down to 43rd and taking a look.
Good idea.
And see, maybe we'll save it for another meeting, but I mean, this is something that doesn't have to necessarily be
Yeah.
decided now.
No,
But they just said if you want it cleared, you're gonna have to approve it. Basically,
Mhm.
so until we have a more,
Then
I don't know, idea of what the concept you wanna have is, we can just take it off the agenda for this meeting.
That's probably a good idea.
Well, they have a lot of
Is something that's a project for a committee that we. have on
Landscape
this?
committee?
Landscape.
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 No, I think this is a board, I really think it's landscaping type of materials involved. But the concept and the blockage and the sound carrier is more of a conceptual thing for the entire community board.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should kind of table it for a second in regards to the
Yeah.
agenda item and come back to it again.
Because over the years, we've filled in, I mean, there's some fencing. There's no fencing as you get south of the building here. But there's fencing along the north. We've put in the prickly bushes and things on the berm. And that's, you know, to kind of clean up where people can't run through. So, I mean, we've done some work, and then we did get a proposal years ago, 6-7 years ago, of fencing the rest of it. And that was in the $22,000 category, and then, of course, that's just a fence.
Yeah.
That's not even, you know, any barrier or anything like that,
Well,
so.
I think that's my point here is that in essence, eventually, 20 years from today, 5, we don't know. There's gonna have to be a fence there because there's gonna be a lot more population. Let's say they turn it into a 4-lane highway all the way down to whatever, 53rd Avenue.
Hopefully, like, if they do that, maybe that's gonna become a real thoroughfare. We can talk to the county about.
About putting a sound barrier.
But, you know, a sound barrier wall.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
we need a fence, let's think about that before we put the plants in.
Well, if we have a sound
I
barrier
put the fence,
via
I
the
put the
county,
plan.
then we don't need to worry about it.
Well, we hope.
That's
Right
the
now-
landscaping committee can talk about maybe putting some of
Yeah.
those.
We've got heavy vegetation from south of here down. I mean, the whole thing is, do you want to remove the outer barrier? I mean, we've got plenty on the inside here. The only place we need to replace it now is, which we've already planned to do, is put those Aurelia palms up behind the 126 or whatever it is
Good
up
idea.
there.
So that's a no-brainer.
That's
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
that's gonna be done.
Okay, then that's good.
So would the county give you the names of the people that submitted letters and the dates on those letters?
I don't know. I don't know that, I don't know if they have any,
Well,
but
What
I
if
think
they
they must.
like you said, they
Yeah.
had something. Would
Well,
you
that's what they
share
said.
Who did it come from and how old is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be
Probably just how
20
old
years
is
old,
it
and
is
it's
enough
well fed.
information. What does it
Well,
matter who?
what-
What does it matter who?
If it was a board action that the board sent to the county, then,
That's different.
yeah.
I
I
would
think
venture
that's
to
what
guess it was around
We can investigate.
I think that's, let's table it to.
Yeah, all right, so we're gonna table that one.
Yeah.
But won't get on the agenda yet.
More information, better.
Alright.
If we don't hear back from Ostenbridge or Van Ostenbridge or Ron about how it was submitted, we could always submit a public records request. It's an easy form online, and then their team sends you all of the communication.
Just what I was
Because
gonna say.
Yeah, okay. It's all
Like
public
that
record.
easy form.
42 pages.
Yeah. That's a county easy.
Yeah.
Late night meeting.
All right. What do we got here? All right, we need to replace the pool and spa main drain covers.
How about this? How about this? And this is, I didn't even realize that how time flies. 10 years ago, the state of Florida decided that the main drain covers system was inadequate to protect young children, small people from being sucked into the drain and held down. So they devised a new system, and it's been installed 10, 11 years ago. Little did I know at that time, and I even had a pool business, that they put a 10-year life on those. So ours are all 10 years old. And so we have to replace all main drain in the pools and the spas at $300 a piece.
Oh,
Does that include the draining and whatever?
Well, it's the system. it's primarily the cover.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to drain the pools to do it.
Yeah, don't know that, doubt it. Because they usually do it by diving.
Well, how do they
Yeah.
look? Do they-
No, it's the same. You're not gonna see anything. You're just gonna see a newer, prettier one for $300 each, including labor.
And that the county does this?
We do it.
21.
No, we do it.
Times 14, yeah.
Does it have to be done in 10 years?
It has to be done in 10 years because, oh, by the way, I didn't report yet, and I don't know if Tammy, you know, but we had just our recent inspection. We get a yearly inspection. And all pools, all spas were found in perfect shape. Except he looked at one main drain, it was 10 years old.
Yeah.
When they make you.
Yeah,
change
they
it
make
to
you
10
change it.
years.
Yeah, it's a law. You know, so
So
we have no choice but to approve it.
I wanna know who's getting the kickback on.
Well, it's like the backflows. The plumbers union is getting the kickback for the backflows. And there's whoever, you know, what can I tell you?
Do we have a price on that?
Yes, it'll be $300 times
14.
14. And that'll be a reserve item because it continues the life of an existing asset.
So it's $4,200.
Managers report,
That'll be
That'll be right.
all part of it, yeah.
committee reports?
Yep.
Be ready, director comments, anybody?
I have one
Oh.
question. Okay,
Go ahead.
you go first.
No, you, please.
Okay, I was just gonna say, do we need to look at, I know last year we did a $1 price or, increased cost of living or whatever for our employees, and I was just thinking, do we need to initiate doing that again this year to kind of help keep up with inflation in modern times? I have heard from a few people that we are paying on the lower end of things. I wasn't sure if that would be an initiative we'd wanna, try to attract more workers since we're low and maybe keep ours around for longer.
Let me address that if I can. Number
Yeah.
one, that would be something you would bring before the budget committee
Mhm.
versus the board, because the board will have to be the ultimate overseer once the budget committee works on that.
Yeah.
Secondarily, I would never not voice positives for employees in today's cost factor. But I would tend to disagree with any indication coming back that we're on the low end. I mean, 3 of our 7 are in the plus $20 an hour. 4 of our 7 are plus $20 and more. And the other ones are 18 and 19. And if you look at, they're offering 25 and 28 out on the island, but not around here. So I really don't think we're at the low end. But I would always be, within reason, look at, not defend the employees and say, sure, they could get it, but it's, we're not in the low end by any means.
Mm,
The budget committee meeting on the 21st.
Okay.
And we'll be dealing primarily with reserves and that.
Yeah,
meeting.
that's for reserves.
And the,
Yeah, we will.
so operating
We talked about
expenses
it
will
last
be
year.
in September.
Pretty good raise. We talked maybe.
Are we at full strength in their maintenance?
No,
No,
we're short one landscaper and we're short our carpenter, but we've been working outside and kind of getting things done. Maybe more economically now, but it's gonna reach a point of diminishing returns because we're still paying another company. Yeah, I mean, if we paid him directly, we would be paying him less than paying the company he works for. Yeah, heck of a good carpenter.
That guy that's the owner that lives here, and he was on vacation for the summer, is his name DJ or JD or? He was working part-time?
Oh, yeah. He's got, he was working part-time on the grounds group.
But he's
And
gonna
he
do
may come
something.
back, but he's due back in October. He may come back and he'll be welcome. Of course, the pressure is off. And one of the reasons we got behind is that everybody gets vacations.
Right.
And Eddie was gone to Mexico for 6 weeks.
And Jose's mother?
Jose, we still haven't seen.
Oh.
We don't know if she's,
Anybody heard from him?
nope, nobody's heard from him. Nobody's contacted. We don't know if he's still in Mexico or not, but we're looking. Because in my opinion, he's abandoned the job.
Yeah.
Even if he shows up, is he fired?
If he shows up and can commit to work, he was a heck of a good worker. I wouldn't want to lose him.
I mean,
But,
but disappearing like that.
well, no, I mean, we know he went to Mexico because his mother's deathly ill.
Oh.
That we know,
Okay.
I mean, for a fact. Whether he's still there, or whether he chooses not to communicate with us, I don't know, but I mean, we're looking. And no, if we find somebody else who's, no,
Yeah.
adios,
That's his loss, yeah.
no pun intended.
Chris, you got something?
Well, I was disappointed in the job that Brown did. And when they got to Lakeside, I should have looked sooner. Because by that time, they'd already done most of the sables in Lakeside and the whole Wildwood. They cut them 10-2. They didn't cut them 9-3 like we told them. And so, most of the palms, the sable palms were overcut. And, I did send something to John, and Tiffany did too, and after you talked to them, last Monday, why they did change. And they cut, more, but they literally cut hundreds of our sables in a 10-2, and that's not what we had, told.
Intended, no. Well, like,
Some of those are ones that were by the building or on the building.
Not very many, Steve.
No.
It really, they did almost everything 10-2. And, I just don't think that's what we had agreed on. That's what the board agreed on. That's what the committee agreed on.
Did they get a letter saying how they should be cutting, or is this just verbal information that we give them?
I'm sure he communicated, yeah.
they got a letter and everybody involved, the grounds committee. Everybody got a copy of what the directions were. I thought they were pretty succinct.
It did.
I mean, it could be a difference of opinion, what somebody calls a 9-3 or a 10-2.
Yeah, well, their opinion was wrong.
I don't
I'm
think so.
serious.
I don't think so.
But you
Tiffany
had
has some very
somebody else.
clear pictures of what a 9-2 looked like. And that's not what they did.
I always was taught to drive 10-2.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a disconnect somewhere. It's not getting apparent. Maybe.
And after John spoke to them, they did do 9-3 the way it should have been done.
Yeah.
So they knew.
Mm.
And last year they did 9-3.
Yes.
So I don't know. All I know is that I was really disappointed. I would even make a recommendation to the landscape committee that we don't let them cut any stables next year, other than seed pods.
If I remember last year, though, that they started cutting them. 10-2, and then they had to be told that they're not doing it right.
It's the second year that it's happened.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I know that in Lakeside, that the way they looked, they did a 9-3 cut last year. But not this year. They cut a lot more branches this year, and they didn't need to.
Maybe they were dead.
No, they were great.
Well, I just gotta tell you that I totally disagree. And most of the people that we've talked to, in fact, we've had some that John and I talked to that said they didn't cut enough. And what our community looked like just before they cut them this year, it looked like crap.
I disagree.
They looked beautiful.
Good.
It's all aesthetics. Yeah, but if we want to preserve them as assets, we need to let them feed themselves.
I've been here for 45 years.
Are we done?
Mhm.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can just cut this one off. Owners' comments, anybody?
Oh, I got
How about
still
the
another
director's
thing.
comment?
I did that already.
No.
Yes, I
you
did.
come around.
No, I didn't go around, it's just the director's comments.
Uh, I've looked over our property here the last couple of weeks in my walking and so on. I'm really excited by what I'm seeing. I'm not looking at the aesthetics of the palm trees, I'm sorry, but I am looking at the property. I don't think I've ever seen it look better. The lawn is being mowed, it's full and green, and there's a lot of good things happening. And then I think about what John said, and we're running low on employees doing it, yet I'm really pleased with what I'm seeing. I should perhaps know more about the trees, I don't. But I did hear about the vines when I was talking to another person about it, and they said, well, maybe we can help out. But anyway, Unfortunately, I don't have the expertise to be a pro at this. I'm just saying, it looks good to me.
That's why you trust the
Yeah.
landscape.
110 degrees heat index today. Are we giving our employees maybe a longer siesta, lunch break? I
Or
mean,
two
they're
breaks.
working in this stinking heat.
They take breaks.
Do they
Regular.
get enough or extra breaks because of the heat?
Let's just say that according to the rules, they get one break
I
in,
know, they have morning,
from
afternoon.
10 to 15 period, yeah,
Yeah.
one break, 10 to
Just
15, 10 to 10:15. They are allowed to take a break occasionally, and we're not pushing it.
Okay.
They're
good.
getting the good work done. And we understand it. We put a special water cooler back out and back for them where they could take water now in the 5-gallon jugs.
Good.
So, I mean, we've done things and we talk about it. We meet together and we make sure we hydrate.
Okay.
Okay, so it's, and all you gotta do is go out there. I mean, Steve and I work hard by driving around and perspiring, right?
I'm seeing more neighbors bringing cold water.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Well, the water coming out of the hose
That's-
is not even cold.
No,
Nor is it, it's not potable either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not potable.
Not supposed
No,
to
but
be.
it's.
Sure it is.
That's.
The water in the hose?
Yeah, the water in the
Yes.
hose.
Depends on which hose.
depends on which hose. That's right.
Front-
I used to
front
get
porch
water
one?
hose all the
Okay.
time as a kid.
I remember as a kid growing up in Florida, you just run over and grab the hose and
Yeah.
turn it on and
Doesn't taste right, but it's.
it tastes a little rubbery.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can still smell the algae in the water though.
anything else?
Yeah.
No, we're all done. Okay, we'll see you
A week.
from next Monday.
Okay.
We
I'll be in touch with you.